national championship. Something stupid is coming out of his mouth. I don't know. Maybe it's just my age. He needs his vote pulled immediately. And of course, yes, a season like this has to have a name. Let's talk about something good about Justin Freck. What are you doing? The season of dreams. Ohio State, my guys, are either the best or the second best program in the history of college football. This guy is a bonehead. They love him. I question your judgment as an adult. I really do. I was a total hater. I know that for a fact, and I just don't get it. Get us back our sleeves and say, bring me that. That's the one I want. If you're watching this show, you're most likely an Ohio State fan, and you already know that the hypocrisy knows no bounds with the fellas up north. But this one, man, this one kind of takes the cake to me. We're talking about the same crew that has gone around for the last 12 months. 12 months nonstop. First with the $13 million figure that Ryan Day put out in June of 2022 and falsely attributing it to the team of 2024 at Ohio State as costing $13 million. Then Ross Bjork, Ohio State AD, came out and said, actually, that number is $20 million. And boy, when they got that figure, they loved it. And they have continued to just try to devalue everything Ohio State's done with that $20 million figure. Set it up as if they should win everything. Well, you should have. You spent $20 million. Everything they can do to devalue it with that number. They, on the other hand, don't want guys that just come for money. They want guys that come because they want to be Michigan men. Unfortunately for them, that keeps you in the recruiting range of about 12 to 15, where they've been for the last decade and where they'll remain. There's only a couple of schools that can recruit at a top level with that kind of attitude. Ohio State actually is one of them. Many of the recruits Ohio State gets, they're not their highest offer. In fact, more often than not, Ohio State's not their highest offer. Ohio State's competitive, but they're not out there spending money on each individual recruit. Max deal. The only max deal they had in this class of 2025, David Sanders. Everybody else, they weren't the highest offer. But that's not the point. The point is they believe that they pretend like they want guys who just want to come to Michigan because they love Michigan and not because of the opportunity it provides. When in fact, anybody from out of state is going to a school based on what it's provided them. And it's been that way forever, whether that is to play for a great team, an avenue to the NFL, better coaching, better facilities, education, whatever. It's about the opportunities. And now financial opportunity also comes into that equation, but they pretended like that's dirty. It's not dirty anymore. It's not dirty to pay players for their work. It's constitutional. It's morally right. It's morally wrong to pretend like that's dirty. But that's the stance they've taken. Developed, not bought. Until the very first time they got some juice in their NIL department, which why for so long has their NIL department not been the same as Ohio State's? You got a state with the same population. You claim to have as many fans. You claim to be as big of a brand. Why can't you fund your NIL? Are you just cheap, or do you not care as much about winning football? I don't know the answer, but I think it's one of those two. Well, Dave Portnoy came out, Barstool Sports, annoying dude, and said that he was going to buy them a transfer portal quarterback. And since then, in the debacle that they've had this season, starting 3 different quarterbacks, one of them has since retired, there has been a big push amongst money people at Michigan to get together money to try to woo Bryce Underwood to stay home. Bryce Underwood, the number 1 recruit in the country, the best quarterback in the country, out of Bellevue, Michigan, from just down the street from Ann Arbor, committed to LSU. And when he committed to LSU, the number of $5 million was floated that his parents were asking for Michigan. And I've seen those Michigan boards, and they've blasted him nonstop about his parents asking for that $5 million. They don't want a guy like that. They want a guy who wants to be at Michigan because he wants to be at Michigan. And they got one. The Gatorade Player of the Year out of Florida, Carter Smith. Carter Smith, a really good quarterback, a really heady kid. I wasn't particularly impressed with his arm, but a kid who's a winner. And not just that, loved Michigan. Loved it so much, he got it tattooed on him. everything they purport to love and want, they had in Carter Smith. Well, they decided to make a second really big effort to pursue Bryce Underwood. They got some money together, and Pete Nakos of On3 reported a $5 million package that they had put together for him. Then CBS came out and said, actually, it's more like $10 million. Then Michigan Insider, Michigan Illustrated, one of their websites, the On3 one of a Michigan fan pretending to be a journalist, EJ Holland, said, actually, it's more like 10.5 million. So a $10.5 million package put together for Bryce Underwood. 50% of the number, one player that they've been criticizing Ohio State about for the 2024 class or 2024 team on one guy. We're talking a deal as big as Rashada's fake deal from Florida, bigger than Nico Iamaleava's deal from Tennessee. One of the biggest public deals we've ever heard in NIL coming from them, the developed, not bought folks. They don't care, though, if they win. If they win the recruitment, they're all cool. They'll eat their words. They won't care. They'll just say, well, we had to do it to keep up. We didn't want it to be this way. What if they don't get him? We're talking about a hometown kid. They have come up with $10 million. They have sent fans in shirts made up to stay home to Michigan, going to his playoff games. They're organizing and going to his playoff games. They've got Connor Stallions now working at the high school. By the way, what self-respecting high school coach would bring that guy on the sidelines? What did they incentivize that coach with to get him there? It's just kind of gross, man. Dude's a known cheater. I don't know how you could square that away with parents and stuff, whatever. Not the point. The point is they've gone all in, totally debased themselves with the developed, not bought. They don't care as long as they win. What if they don't? Carter Smith, so offended, so put off by the public pursuit, he's since decommitted from Michigan. So they lost the guy that represents everything they said they love and they want to go after the guy that represents everything they said they hate about Ohio State. Well, where does Bryce Underwood stand? He just had his official visit at LSU. Coming out of that visit at LSU insider Shay Davis says LSU seems to be feeling the same way they were before this $10 million push. And on the official 3 weeks out of signing day, obviously they discussed everything at that visit. Underwood seems to be saying the same thing. Michigan doesn't appear to be in the driver's seat here, despite everything they've done, despite throwing away the kid that they said they wanted. What's he going to do? Going to be interesting. Probably going to come down to signing day. I don't think he's going to publicly decommit before then. If he picks Michigan, it'll be on signing day. It'll be an exciting one. But if they don't get him, ouch. That's a shame. Nonetheless, they can never say anything about the $20 million again in good faith. Hey, it's Juck.
Juck? Who is Juck?
Juckonbucks.
Juckonbucks. Juckonbucks?
Juckonbucks.
My guy Juck. Juckonbucks.
My buddy Juck.
Juck is the Juck.
It's Juckonbucks. Okay.
Juck is junk.
The Juck eyes.
Juck eye.
Juckonbucks.
Junk. Juck. Not junk. Juck.